Okay. Thank you for joining. This is Satish. Uh, we have designed this performance testing in DevOps, the crash course, very specifically for the uh, performance testing group, right? Either for the people who are currently working in performance testing projects, or even for the manual testers, functional testers, or the automation testers, where they are now they wanted to start learning about the basics of DevOps, how to make your testing to work in a DevOps world, in the Jenkins, the pipeline. So the way we have designed this crash course is very specifically for the people of this community, to get them upskilled, so that they can get a kickoff. They can get a beginning where they will be able to expand this further as they start working in this area, right? So that is how this 5 hours crash course is designed. And for today's, the agenda would be, I would be providing the walkthrough on all the topics that we will be covering it through those 5 hours, right? I just wanted to very give a overview on what each and every hour we are going to do it during that crash course. Since it's going to be 5 hour crash course, right? We wanted to make sure you exactly know what you're going to get out of the session, so that whatever hours you're going to spend, especially on the weekend, which is very um, costly, right? Spending 5 hours during a weekends, so we respect your time. So we want to make sure before you join the course, we want to make sure you get a feeling of what exactly you're going to get, right? So that is how I'll spend my next 20-30 minutes in covering the areas which will be dealing it in detail. So we'll start with the introduction of performance testing in DevOps. Right? So if you look into the slide, right, there are when the concept or definition of DevOps, the agile continuous testing, it's different from different people in different places. If you go and look into videos, look into your study materials, websites, you will get a lot of definitions, a lot of meaning about it, right? We'll keep it very simple, for this course, right? We'll don't ever complicate about how this has been used in many organizations. So more from DevOps, more from continuous testing, the way the objective of the enterprise to implement DevOps, to implement the continuous testing, is to have your release cycle fast, right? That is the ultimate goal of every organization. And when they release, when they make this release fast, absolutely they want also to make this quality of the build to be utmost the best, right? So speed and quality is going to be something, the ultimate goal of when it comes to DevOps and continuous testing. So that is how you see, you have a continuous development, continuous deployment, continuous integration, continuous testing, and then they go and do the deployment, right? So the developers keep developing their code, and then as they develop, gets into it get built and it get deployed, and then it gets tested immediately. So every build, in every day, right? Maybe end of the day, or twice in a week, depending upon the maturity level, depending upon the volume of work the team does. This release cycle varies. The build deployment varies, but the cycle, it's pretty much same. Though it is going to be 2 week cycle or 4 week cycle, what happens inside the cycle remains same in terms of the way it continuously gets developed, continuously deployed in your test environment, and testing comes into a picture, and then everything's okay, then it gets deployed. But most of the time, so even in this representation, right, you don't see a continuous performance testing. Under the continuous testing, you see Selenium or Test Complete, JUnit. But when probably your load runner or JMeter or neoload is not represented, right? So there are a lot of myths or perceptions that is there with respect to bringing in performance testing into your DevOps cycle, into your continuous testing. So we all these things will probably go in detail when in the session. Uh, but very specifically, there are 2 points of view. One, I as a performance tester or I as a performance engineer, I have a few perception, and project manager or a release manager more from a budgeting perspective, more from the your pipeline execution duration perspective. Each one have their own perception, right? So I as a performance tester, always I might think, if everything is goes to DevOps, if everything goes to a pipeline, will I have my job? Will the team see value in me, right? That is one of the perception. And from performance from the program manager, from the release manager perspective, they always have this perception saying, is it possible to do the performance testing at all in the pipeline? I mean, will there be a robust scripts? Will the execution take time? Who is going to do the analysis? So one of the crux of the DevOps pipeline is everything has to be automated. You will not, you cannot have people coming in doing something and then making the job run, right? So it is expected to be semi-automated or automated. So each one have this perception. So we'll touch upon what are these myths and what is the reality, what is something we are seeing in the current market. So all these things we'll probably see it as an introduction during our detailed session. Okay, and then we'll also look into the main problem, what I see, also what I have seen with myself earlier, right? Whenever we wanted to learn something, it is always difficult to get started. I mean, that is the biggest barrier, right? Once you get started somewhere, you will be able to really know what is all about and where should I expand further. So getting started is going to be very important. And very specifically with DevOps, there are going to be 100 things people are going to talk about, and it's going to be evolve. It's going to change every 6 months, every 1 year. So you cannot really keep a pace about all the tools, all the technology that is going to come along with the DevOps. No way we'll be able to master anything. And with respect to we as a performance testers or we as a testing community as well, it is not required to master, at least to begin with, right? It is all something we need to know what is what, how are we going to use it. As we start using it, we will automatically will try to go to the next maturity level with respect to any specific tools or technology. So at no point we'll try to master Jenkins. Will no point we'll try to master the other any other tool what we are going to talk about. It is more about we'll get started somewhere. We will know all the basics about 4 or 5 different components, and once you have this feeling of okay, this is what all about, and then when you have a real project requirement, you will be able to expand yourself pretty easily. So we'll look upon what are all things that are talked about in the DevOps world with respect to tools and technologies, and as a performance tester, what is that we are going to focus on, and where we are going to get the things started. And then as I said, once you start working on the projects, once you start exploring on these lines, you'll get more and more knowledge. So we also, during the session, we'll also see what are these skills that are required, where we are going to get started, what are the basics we are going to get, and then how we can going to expand. And then very specifically from a performance testing perspective, from a DevOps pipeline perspective, we'll look into various maturity levels. We'll look into various progression that might happen as you start implementing performance testing into your either it is going to be Jenkins pipeline or whatever tool that your customer or your project team are going to use it. What is a typical progression what we see from a basic Jenkins to JMeter, from Jenkins to JMeter to start with, and then you go with some automated feedbacks. You will also then integrate with your GitHubs, integrate with your Slacks. So the maturity level goes as you progress from basic to depending upon the need of your projects, depending upon how other pipeline works, depending upon the process set by your own organization with respect to DevOps, your progression of performance testing will also move along. Will also talk about all these various general pipelines that are going to be available in the DevOps. Okay, and wherever you see the symbol, right, with a person sitting in a laptop, I mean, this means it's going to be a practical sessions um, uh, during the 5-hour crash course. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in the slide, there are a lot of things to learn, right? So what in the course, what we are going to learn, that is what represented here. Okay, so we'll start with the basics of the Jenkins, how we are going to install the Jenkins, how we are going to install the plugins, how are we going to create the freestyle jobs, how are we going to create various pipelines, scheduling these pipeline jobs, right? All these things we will have a practical sessions around these areas. And once this is done, we'll also start. That is the basics about Jenkins, right? Nothing to do with the performance testing. Once we know how the Jenkins itself works, how we are going to create jobs, how we are going to create pipelines, how we are going to schedule the jobs, then we'll get into the performance testing area, where JMeter is a preferred DevOps uh, tool, right? Since it's an open source, it's a developer-friendly tool. Even the functional testers also use JMeter for their functional validation. So one of the preferred tool in the DevOps world is JMeter. Yes, other tools like your maybe a Gatling uh, and your load runner, new load are there, but as whatever we have seen so far, JMeter is going to be one of the preferred tool. So we'll also create a sample JMeter script, assuming that the community will have very good experience in the load runner scripts anyway. We'll not go in detail about how to create scripts, how JMeter works, but we'll create a sample JMeter script, and then the more focus will be on how to execute the JMeter over the command line, how to install the JMeter plugin in the Jenkins, integrating your JMeter with the Jenkins, getting some performance trends. That is what we will see it in the course as part of the series of practical sessions. So probably I'll show a quick preview on what is going to be. I have this Jenkins already installed in my machine, but the plugins, and I also ran few jobs. So we'll start fresh. We'll be having a fresh machine where I'll be installing the Jenkins. I'll be setting up the Jenkins and then setting up this plugin, and then we'll be going on configuring the your job with respect to the JMeter test execution. Okay, all these things will be pretty much doing it. I will be doing it hands-on, as you see, so which is going to be a more of a practical sessions. And just one more thing, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat channel, so that I'll be able to answer those after this end of this overview session. So feel free to put your questions in the chat channel. Okay, so once we as a group we know what is Jenkins, how to use Jenkins, and how to integrate JMeter with Jenkins. Now my JMeter scripts are running automatically in the Jenkins, right? Then what is next steps? Then second important thing is in the Jenkins or in the pipeline, it's very important to send feedbacks and emails. Otherwise, nobody will know what has happened to your job, right? Your test is completed. What has happened to the test? It is passed or failed, right? Those kind of initial information that has to be sent to your stakeholders, your release managers, or your performance lead, or your project manager. So we'll also see how to handle this via Jenkins. Okay, next. So I think I spoke about the transition, right? Improving the maturity level. Whatever we have seen so far is a very basics, very minimal thing. What you can start with very easily, very quickly, without even spending a lot of efforts. You can have this up and running probably in a day or two maximum, right? Then we'll talk about monitoring. So from a performance perspective, we all know that just Jenkins with JMeter will not work. we'll also wanted to get some automated monitoring to be done, so that we also know what is the CPU, what is the memory, important other parameters from OS perspective, right? So we'll also get into something very interesting, very commonly used in current um, market of open source tool stacks. We all know Dynatrace is there, AppDynamics is there, which are going to be licensed commercial tools for monitoring. But when it comes to your pipelines, when it comes to your DevOps, again, open source tools take a more precedence over these commercial tools. And we'll look into a couple of available open source tool stack for monitoring. And very specifically, this is something very commonly used: the combination of your Telegraph, your InfluxDB, and Chronograph. So we'll also have a hands-on on these tools, how to install these tools, how to start these tools, how to configure it, and how to monitor it, right? All these things will also look into it as part of the automated monitoring. So I have these tools already installed, but more from the our session perspective, we will definitely go over the downloads, installations, and then configuration, and then we'll go and see how this monitoring is going to work, how this is going to be effective for us to monitor the critical metrics during our DevOps pipeline. So this is something like I'll have. Let me go to this. Yeah, so you'll have this three installables downloads, which will get it from the site, and I'll have these InfluxDB running and the Chronograph running in my system, which will capture this data from my Windows machine or a Linux machine, and it is going to send the data to Influx. From Influx, the Chronograph is going to show you the your all the metrics, whatever you have configured from an OS perspective. So this is something we'll look into it in detail about the installation, configuration, data collection, monitoring. And next thing is, okay, now we have done with the load test integration. We also have some kind of a good monitoring in place, automated monitoring in place. What next is, most of the time, there's one of the myth what we talked about, right? Is it possible to bring in my load test scripts into pipeline? Maybe not, maybe yes. It all depends upon a lot of factors, right? It is also possible to use any of the existing automation scripts developed by your automation team, or even ourselves, if we can just create some few landing pages automation scripts, right? It is all easy to get. It is very easy to get a single user performance metrics, a lot of client side performance metrics from your Selenium scripts. So we'll also look into how to create some basic Selenium scripts. Again, the idea is not to get into the core of Selenium, not at all. It's more about how easy it is to create a basic Selenium script by ourselves, and how are we going to inject some performance timers, and how are we going to get the response time, how this is going to be integrated with the Jenkins, and how it is going to be used. Right now, what is the use case for using this Selenium integration with Jenkins from a performance perspective, and how are we going to do it? That is also something we'll look into it more as a hands-on, more as a practical. So I'll have an Eclipse project for a DevOps, and I'll go over how to create the your WebDriver scripts, how to inject your metrics, how to we also talk about a couple of browser APIs, browser JavaScripts, which we will use it as part of the Selenium integration. Yeah, so that is the one of the key aspect which we'll look into it during the session. And then, okay, now I have my single user performance, I have load and scripts configured, I have automated monitoring. So then what is my next stage? What is next maturity level, right? We probably would have all heard about a lot of communication channels when it comes to DevOps, right? In DevOps, collaboration, communication is going to be very, very key. So as name specifies the DevOps, you will have a development team, you will have ops team, you will have a testing team, you will have your project management team. So it is very important to give a complete visibility on what is going on, what is happening as part of your build deployments, as part of your pipeline execution. So that is where the channels like your Teams or Slack, it comes into really effective. Okay, so you will have you'll be able to you trigger somebody deploying a job, right? Deploying your code. You'll be able to come to this channel saying something is deployed. The code is deployed in performance environment, right? Then your jobs in Jenkins can be triggered automatically. So we'll see how Slacks and Jenkins is going to work together. How from a Slack we can trigger a job. How can status of your job can be retrieved and can be posted in the Slack. So I, as a tester, I as a manager, I have my Slack app. I'll keep receiving these status: performance testing, job passed, failed, which means there is going to be a better collaboration, better communication. Nobody wanted to really wait for your emails. Nobody wanted to wait for your detailed calls. So that is how this communication channel is going to work, and we'll see practically how this collaboration channel is going to be set up. So I'll also have I already have a Slack channel with which will be adding the Jenkins plugin. In Jenkins, we'll be adding the Slack plugins, and we'll see how this actually works in terms of Slack to Jenkins integration. Okay. Then now, okay, my collaboration channel is all set. I have a very good communication being sent to all the stakeholder. What is the next level? What is the next level I can move up? How can I improve my maturity? We'll also talk about the script, maintaining the scripts, right? In JMeter or in DevOps, you will have people working in different places. A few people from probably US or India, they'll be creating scripts, and probably they might be maintaining in some shared drive or whatever it is, right? With GitHub, again, an open source versioning tool, how we are going to upload the scripts as a team to a GitHub channel. And from a Jenkins, how can I pull these scripts whenever there's a pipeline going to be executed? I don't need to worry about what is the latest script. I know it to just refer to my static folder. How can I pull my latest scripts from my GitHub, and how the job can be executed, right? So this as well, we'll cover it as part of the session. So the way the session will happen is, it is all about the transition. How I'm going to start doing this work, starting with basic Jenkins JMeter integration, automated feedbacks, and then the automated monitoring, and then with the Slack communication channel, and then with the GitHub, and of course Selenium, something I missed, with the single user Selenium. So that is how the transition will actually happen even in any place where you're going to get started with your performance testing in DevOps, right? That is how the course is also been structured. And then we'll also look into the couple of real-time project situation where how the pipelines will be created. What are the various common pipelines we will create as part of the performance testing? The need for that, and then how are we going to create pipelines? How it is going to look like, and what are going to be how the each jobs are going to communicate with each other. So those real-time project situation probably we will discuss, and we'll also have a few pipelines to be showed as part of the practical sessions. And then finally we'll end up with having a few discussions on how are you going to expand further, right? So far we have all seen whatever you have seen so far. It wouldn't have required a lot of programming skills, right? Probably using Selenium, you might need a little bit of Java for sure. But with the Slack, with the GitHub, with integrating with your JMeter scripts to Jenkins, all these things will not require a lot of programming skills for you to do it. I mean, even if you have very basic skills, whatever we have seen so far, you'll be able to pretty much do it on your own. But if you want to expand further, right, there will be a lot of practical work, practical things will come into picture. Say, for example, you might want to create some folders in your load generators, in your missions where these pipelines are going to get executed. You might have to create folders, delete folders. You might have to archive a few results before every executions. You might wanted to capture the Windows resources automatically. Say, for example, if you don't have these open source tool, whatever we have seen earlier, right? Like your InfluxDB or whatever, if it is not allowed, then how are you going to take this CPU or memory from your missions? So there are a lot of use cases where you would need a couple of programming skills for you to expand. So not to begin, but to expand. So we'll see what are those, right? We'll see how to run a Java or jar files from a Jenkins, how to set these environmental variables in Jenkins, and we'll also look into a couple of key aspects with respect to Windows PowerShell and Linux shell scripts. Those are very, very important for you as you try to make your pipelines more robust, more dynamic. You don't need to worry about, you don't need to just rely on the available plugins, available integrations, right? If you wanted to have your pipeline more matured, then you need to probably handle a lot of things little dynamically. That is where your Windows PowerShell and your Linux shell scripts will be handy, because most of the time your Jenkins will interact with your Windows machine, with your Linux machine. How it is going to interact? It is either it is going to run some batch jobs, either it is going to run some jar files. So to interact with Windows native components, to interact with your Linux native components, you should know basics about the PowerShells and shell scripts. That is what they'll also cover it as part of this session. So in an entire course, right, since it's going to be crash course, 5 hours, I think whatever list we have seen, it's already very, very exhaustive. So the idea of this crash course is to give a kickstart to you, to make sure you know what is that is required, what is available in this performance space, how are you going to get started, get up hands-on on all these things. But it is not going to give you a master level of learning, right? That is something I need to probably tell you as well. You will not be able to master anything over the 5 hours. It's all about getting a beginning, giving you a start into this area, right? So what you will learn, this crash course will provide you all the required basics for integrating performance testing into DevOps pipeline. You will be able to understand what are the commonly used tools, what are those, why are those, and how are we going to use it. And confidently, you will be able to take up the Jenkins integration at your job, right? Either if it's going to be a new job, or if you're already having a job, attending the interview. Once you go through this course, and I recommend you to have a similar setup, whatever I have shown you, right? Whatever I've shown you now, whatever I will show you in detail next week. If you're going to have the setup in your own laptop, right? Maybe because today you don't have this project requirement, maybe it might come in 6 months or 1 year, right? But unless otherwise, you're going to have this environment in your own laptop, in your own mission. Theoretical steps are all always going to be there. Once you get this hands-on, once you do it all these things by yourself, you'll get a lot of confidence, and that is what we are also wanted to give it through this crash course. Okay, so that is what you're going to learn. With this, I'll probably take a pass. The registration is going to get started from today. The actual classes will be on 29th and 30th, which is nothing but Saturday morning IST and Sunday morning IST. And for any more details, clarifications, you can reach out to Navin and through this number. I think you all would have been got added to the WhatsApp group as well. You can also post your question to the WhatsApp group, the group, or privately to Navin. Okay, I'll probably stop now. If you have any questions, probably you can unmute, and we can probably spend next 5 to 10 minutes on the questions. If you wanted to ask the question offline, you can send it through WhatsApp as well. So there's a question from Sumigar. Do we learn about shell scripting? We will not learn in detail about shell scripting, but how the shell scripting works, how are we going to create basic shell scripts? Probably we'll also create 1 or 2 shell scripts during the session. Yes, the basics about it is covered, but shell scripting itself, it's a massive area. It's a bigger learning course by itself. So idea is not to get expertise in shell script, but definitely from a DevOps perspective, from a performance tester perspective, we will definitely cover the shell scripting to that level. Azure DevOps pipeline for JMeter, we will not cover as part of the session. No. As I said, the course is structured in such a way. There are a lot of things we can do it with DevOps, right? There are Azure DevOps pipeline. There is AWS pipeline. There are tens and tens of things we have to learn, or probably it is there for us to grab. But the way the course is structured is for you to because as you ask this question, right, I might say no, 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 because when it is general tendency for us even to ask this question, right, whether I will be able to learn this, that, the way we have structured this course for 5 hours, just a 5 hours, right, to get into this very, very important aspect, which we think that is important for a person to get started. So and what what we'll also do is, what we used to do is, if you have any specific questions on after the course, if you have very specific questions on, say, if you want to know about Azure DevOps, or probably know about AWS DevOps pipelines, we will definitely try to share the important documents or something available over the internet, good videos. We will try to share those which might which will help you to expand further. But the course content, it is not going to cover the your Azure DevOps. All these content will cover in 5 hours sufficient? Yes, it is sufficient. As I said, whatever I have spoken through, we will cover it in those 5 hours. Is Maven required? Maven required, but most of the time it might not be required for whatever we have spoken about, for integrating performance testings into a pipeline. It may not be required, but more from a Selenium scripts, or if you wanted to create a lot of things as part of your automation, right, apart from your actual performance scripts itself, if you want to probably download some libraries, common libraries for your Selenium scripting, very specific to your Jenkins itself, if you wanted to do some other automations, the Maven might be required. But I don't think it is very, very important for our course content here. How the Jenkins job that test will be triggered automatically? Yes, we will cover it. We will cover all those things as part of the course. How the scheduling is going to happen. Scheduling can how the jobs can be triggered. Jobs can be triggered using from a GitHub or from a Slack, or we'll look into those triggering points. We will cover it in the session, Saurabh. Will we be showing Slack channel and triggers? Yes, we will be showing. We will be completely having a hands-on on the setting up the Slack communication channel, handshake between Jenkins and Slack, and triggering the job from Slack, receiving the notification from Slack. All these things will be part of the session. Slack groups, I don't know what you mean by Slack groups, but we'll not go into this area of Slack itself, how it is going to work, how the Slack channel is going to set for a teams or a group. The idea about Slack is more about how the Slack communicates with Jenkins, and how are we going to trigger a test from Slack, how are we going to receive notification from Jenkins. The course fee, you can reach out to Navin in this number, and he'll be able to help you out with the course fee. Okay, we'll just have one more minute before we'll wind up. And feel free to post your questions, or probably you can ask any other details through WhatsApp privately or in the group. We'll try to answer it. We have one more week. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can post your questions to us in the WhatsApp group or privately to Navin as well. This recording will be available. Recording will be shared to the people who have registered for this group shortly today, and you'll be able to refer it back. So thanks a lot for joining this session, spending your time Sunday morning, Saturday evening. Thanks a lot, and we'll look forward for you. And if you have any questions, as I said, reach out to Navin at the number given in this slide. Okay. Thank you all.